Hello to all astrology enthusiasts. In this video, I want to discuss the conjunction of Venus with the planet Uranus, which will occur for us on July 4th. The exact aspect in the zodiac sign of Taurus. And we'll talk about how this aspect will play out for each of the 12 zodiac signs. Aries. The conjunction of Venus with Uranus takes place in your second house of the horoscope, and this is an absolute explosive upgrade in the area of your finances, self-esteem and values. But only if you are not afraid of unconventional steps and are ready to let go of some of your old financial beliefs. The conjunction can create situations related to sudden income or expenses. You might suddenly get an unusual order, an unexpected bonus, or for example, a barter offer. Or there could be a sudden need to invest in something important and significant. There may be situations where you find unconventional sources of income, that is opportunities to earn through creativity, technology, freelancing, social media, or some new platform. There may also be situations where your attitude toward money changes abruptly and you suddenly realize that you've been overvaluing some things and on the contrary, underestimating others. A reassessment of values is possible here, shifting either from material to spiritual priorities or vice versa. There may be situations of impulsive spending on pleasures, especially on beauty, technology, comfort, and various indulgences or treats for the body. Overall, there is an increased interest in the body as a resource, particularly in terms of physical practices, nutrition adorning the body, and sexuality. In other words, we start to perceive our body as capital or an asset. That is, our appearance, our beauty can also bring us money. To ground this energy in a positive way for yourself, it's important to engage in financial experiments, so to speak, but with a safety net. In other words, you can test out some earning idea, but without getting into debt. This is the perfect time for unconventional business decisions, for launching creative projects, for monetizing your ideas. It's important here to review your values, that is, to clearly determine for yourself what actually brings value to your life and what no longer nourishes or brings you joy. It's important to realize and update your system of priorities. And it's also important, if you feel the urge for impulsive spending, to stop yourself. And if you want to buy something, ask yourself whether it's just an impulse or truly an investment in your values. It's better to invest in something that will strengthen you. And as I said, your body is your capital. So here it's important to invest in comfort, health, nutrition, some kind of body therapy, or even just go for a massage. Anything that enhances your sensitivity and bodily confidence will work to your advantage. I wish you success. See you soon. Taurus. The conjunction of Venus and Uranus is happening in your zodiac sign. This is your first house in the horoscope, and for you, it's an incredibly powerful surge of personal renewal, questions of freedom in your life, beauty, and in general, your bold self-expression. Your energy here is like a spark on dry grass. It can flare up, it can illuminate, or it can ignite. The main thing here is not to suppress this energy, but to direct it. This aspect can create situations in your life that are connected to sudden changes in appearance, from changing your style, hairstyle, or image to saying, I'm going for aesthetic minimalism, or on the contrary, I want to shine and stand out right now. This isn't about fashion, it's about how we feel in the moment. It's a state of being. Here you might find yourself in a situation where your individuality is vividly expressed. In other words, you want to make a statement about yourself, step out of the shadows, and stop being convenient for others. The desire to stand out will manifest itself very strongly here. There may be situations where you feel an unexpected attraction or affection, sudden bursts of passion, or a pull toward unusual people or relationships in your life that break your usual patterns of interacting with others. And here, there may be situations where you experience a state of mind like, I am changing and you won't recognize me. It's that feeling, that state, when the old version of yourself no longer works. There's a desire to drop the masks, the roles, even to change your social circle. Your sensitivity to limitations becomes extremely heightened, and any attempts to put you in your place become irritating, especially if you used to tolerate it before. In order to ground and work through the energy of this aspect, first of all, focus on updating your image, but not from a place of hysteria, rather from a place of awareness. Don't go to extremes, do everything consciously. Do what strengthens your sense of self, not just what attracts attention. In other words, your personal style here is your personal manifest. Allow yourself to be different. Get rid of any old patterns. It doesn't matter whether it's your behavior, certain action models, or your appearance. You can be bolder, more daring, more sensual just as you are right now. Here, it's important to set your true self free. It's important not to suppress your impulses, not to act on autopilot, but to find balance. And any sudden desires that arise in the moment, even if they're somewhat radical, it's important here to, let's say, take a breath before acting and ask yourself, is this truly my intention? Or am I just trying to be contrary? And work with body-based practices. These could be dancing, massages, anything that helps you feel your new version of yourself and in a way anchor it. I wish you success. Gemini. The conjunction of Venus and Uranus is happening in your 12th house of the horoscope, and for you it's like a sudden flash of light in the darkest room of your soul. At first it blinds you, but then it becomes very intriguing. It's a time of unexpected insights, revelations, hidden desires, and sudden feelings. And all of this happens behind the scenes without being advertised to the outside world. This aspect may create situations for you where you feel a sudden attraction to another person that cannot be explained by logic. A secret kind of affection, love for someone unsuitable, or some sort of platonic passion. Either someone from your past will remind you of themselves and suddenly reappear, or you'll experience dreams and signs. There may also be situations of unexpected creative inspiration coming directly from your subconscious. You might wake up with an idea for a painting, a text, a melody, or even a business project, as if this concept was sent to you. There may be situations where your suppressed feelings, emotions you had long forgotten about come to the surface. They suddenly become activated. Venus and Uranus, in a way, will seem to open up your energetic reservoir, so to speak. There may be situations here where you develop an interest in esotericism, metaphysics, spirituality. You might feel drawn to solitude, meditation, try theta healing. Immerse yourself in psychology or psychotherapy, visit a place of power, or attend some kind of retreat. There may be a situation here where you suddenly feel an unexpected desire to distance yourself from everyone, to spend time in your own personal space, in silence, in a kind of social isolation, and to spend more time with yourself. In order to work through the energy of this aspect and ground it in a positive way, it would be helpful to do some writing practices and record everything that comes up from within, dreams, images, feelings, insights. In other words, it would be good to keep a kind of journal during this period where you can track whatever suddenly comes to you. Here, it's important to allow yourself to be sensitive and vulnerable. You don't have to be connected all the time. The 12th house is our secret room. You can spend time there, disconnect from informational noise, and focus on your body through relaxation, massages, or meditation. Venus in Taurus loves touch, and Uranus is the awakening of energy. Here, yoga, spa treatments, any relaxing practice, even a warm bath with essential oils will help you ground yourself. It's important not to run away from the strange feelings that may arise during this aspect, but rather to explore them. That is, everything that comes up heaven, if it initially scares or confuses you, is a real invitation to look deeper within yourself. And you don't have to understand everything right away. But it's important not to reject it. Here, it's important to work on the theme of freeing yourself from old emotional ties and blocks. In other words, it's a good time to let go, to forgive, to bring closure to any internal dramas, whether they relate to relationships that have lingered from the past. And in a way, to work through everything that's happening inside you, this aspect provides a very supportive energy for that. I wish you success. Cancers. The conjunction aspect of Venus and Uranus is happening for you in the 11th house of your horoscope. And this aspect brings a powerful and refreshing burst of inspiration, energy, and motivation specifically into your friendships or into any large group or community in which you actively participate, engage, and contribute your unique talents and efforts to the achievement and realization of that group's shared goals and collective ambitions, helping to foster a sense of unity and progress. Or there may be some insight here regarding your future, a big and truly remarkable, perhaps even extraordinary future that just yesterday you couldn't even begin to imagine. That is, this energy will stir up your dreams, disrupt your social connections, some friendships, and bring new acquaintances, including for friendship. And it will open doors for you to places that are fresh, free, and completely new. And overall, this aspect may create situations where you suddenly meet very bright, unusual people, especially through social networks, groups, various communities, events, or cultural gatherings. And someone might inspire you, ignite you with an idea, or even make you fall in love unexpectedly. Here, situations arise where there will be a new turn in your dreams about the future. In other words, what you wanted before suddenly becomes irrelevant. Instead, something very fresh, bold, and new comes to the surface. A new project, some idea, some method related to your lifestyle, or a new mission in life may appear. There may also be situations here where unexpected separations from part of your social circle occur, especially people who are holding back your growth, keeping you stuck in some old scenario. Or you might feel the urge to completely distance yourself and change your entire social circle. And there may also be a moment when you suddenly have a flash of realization about your unique contribution to society. In other words, you might suddenly understand what role you want to play in the future or what benefit you can bring to others. And of course, there may be sudden launches of projects, especially online in the digital space or within creative communities. Go for it. This is breakthrough energy. To ground this energy, update your social media, refresh your circle, and clean up your feed. Add people who inspire you, and let more experimentation and spontaneity into your life overall. Accept unusual invitations, try out new ways of communicating, and dream in a completely different way, more technologically, more boldly, and on a grander scale. Get involved in the activities of large groups and big communities. Maybe right now you find sponsors for your business project or startup, and let go of control over your future. Just trust in this unpredictability. And on the positive side, it will only bring you renewal and something completely new and radical into your life. Well, I wish you success. Leos, the conjunction of Venus and Uranus is happening in your 10th house of the horoscope. And that's an explosive combination. I want things to be beautiful, bold, and new. In matters of career, reputation, and your social status. This aspect can dramatically overturn your perception of who you see yourself as in your professional life, how you present yourself, how you carry yourself, and what goals specifically career, goals ignite your inner fire. This aspect can create situations of unexpected career twists. An offer from a different direction, a proposal for a new position, a sudden desire to radically change your professional trajectory, to leave a familiar place for the sake of freedom, for the sake of creativity. There may also be situations where you experience a surge in recognition, specifically in your career, especially if you work in the public eye, especially if your work, style, aesthetics, and a message here can go viral. On the downside, there may occasionally be situations of disagreement with management or influential individuals who, in some way, significantly contribute to your career. For example, this could be related to hierarchical rules, let's say. And if that hinders the expression of your uniqueness in your professional activity, Uranus will not let you stay silent here. In addition, this aspect is great for launching personal projects, businesses, or startups, especially those with a creative component or related to technology. Overall, there will be a sharp upgrade to your professional image, your brand, or your positioning, because Venus is about aesthetics, while Uranus is about boldness and freshness. To ground this energy, you should allow yourself to take unconventional steps in your career. For example, simply ask yourself, what would you do if you could break free from others' expectations and build your professional path from scratch? This aspect is exactly the window of opportunity for such decisions. Here you need to refresh your visual style, image, and reputation within the context of your profession. Maybe create a website or somehow showcase yourself, yes, on social media or online. You can gain insights here and realize that not everything needs to be planned. Sometimes that inner spark of I want can truly launch a new professional path in your life. You shouldn't be afraid to go against the system. And since Uranus is precisely calling us toward individuality, toward a new model of leadership, implement technologies, use various presentations, and interact more with clients. Well, I wish you success. Virgos, for you, the aspect of Venus conjunct Uranus will occur in your 9th house of the horoscope. And for you, this is simply a breath of fresh air in your worldview, in matters of learning and in expanding your personal horizons. Here, Venus switch is about desires, pleasures, and aesthetics meets Uranus, bringing breakthroughs, surprises, and freedom. In the realm of worldview, in the area of long-distance travel, it's as if life is calling out to you. Let go of routines. Try something wild, something new, something that inspires you madly. This aspect will create situations for you where unexpected long journeys or a sudden decision to leave may arise, especially to places that are very beautiful, unusual, and not like everywhere else. You might find yourself falling in love with someone from another country, another culture, faith, religion, or worldview. And this situation will completely shake up your entire outlook on life. There could be a sudden shift in your views, a sharp switch from conservative thinking to something more spiritual or perhaps futuristic or avant-garde. An unexpected opportunity to teach, share knowledge, or speak publicly may arise here. There could be a very strong impulse to learn. You might suddenly want to learn something new, whether it's in the field of trendy design or quantum physics. It's important not to be surprised, but to open yourself up to these opportunities in order to ground this energy. Try it, experiment with new styles of communication and thinking. Because Venus and Uranus are in your 9th house, they can bring about an insight that your beliefs have become outdated, and you realize that you no longer cling to them, you're expanding your worldview. This can be done through books, communicating with foreigners, masterclasses, or dialogues with unusual people. You might meet a mentor who radically changes your life. So, for example, set out on some unconventional long-distance journeys. This is a time when you shouldn't just stick to the usual, but maybe hitchhike to the Alps, for instance, or go to an art residency in Iceland, or learn ceramics in some Japanese village. In other words, something contrasting. The main thing is that this trip should have an aesthetic element. There should be experimentation and an openness to everything new. And learn through pleasure, because the 9th house is about education. Undoubtedly, any information can be absorbed here in order to broaden your worldview, including learning foreign languages. So listen to various podcasts, watch lectures in beautiful surroundings, or communicate with charismatic mentors who can truly inspire you. And Uranus here can also shake up your spiritual guidelines. So don't be alarmed. In other words, this is a chance to reshape your life philosophy. And don't hesitate to share your thoughts, ideas, and knowledge. It's possible that your point of view right now could actually inspire new people to follow you. I wish you success. Libra, the conjunction aspect of Venus and Uranus is happening in your 8th house of the horoscope. And for you, this is a period when, in the realm of financial matters, shared finances, intimate relationships, and your personal transformations or crises, a real surge of energy will begin with a touch of surprise and boldness. And this aspect may create situations for you where there are sudden financial changes through partners or through inheritance. You might unexpectedly receive an inheritance, loans, or joint accounts. For example, there could be an unexpected gift, some profit, or on the contrary, a sudden downturn, let's say, right? And there may be some expenses. This could relate to investments, or it could concern entrepreneurship. For instance, in relationships with close ones, you might feel a desire for more freedom, for something more unusual. Therefore, your intimate relationships may take on a very unconventional form, or there could be sudden changes in your intimate life, up to and including breakups in the negative sense. There may be sudden breakthroughs or discoveries in areas such as psychology, esotericism, spiritual practices, or psychotherapy. And this will significantly change your attitude toward your personal resources. That is, you may develop an interest in occultism, esotericism, or some unusual methods of healing. There is also an increased risk here again in terms of finances and investments, so be very careful. To ground the energy of this aspect, use this impulsiveness for creativity. In other words, introduce something new into your financial matters and obligations. This could mean new sources of income. Invest in some unconventional projects, but do so thoughtfully and definitely with partners. And if we are talking about your personal life, openly discuss with your significant other your need for freedom, for example, or the necessity for some changes in your intimate life. In general, use this energy for deep transformations related to the 8th house. This is an opportunity to dive into deep psychological work with yourself under the guidance of a coach or psychologist. And here it's important to experiment. It's important to search, to immerse yourself in meditation, in yoga, spend more time walking in nature. In other words, to ground yourself so that you can go through all these personal changes harmoniously and to your benefit. Well, I wish you success. Scorpios, the conjunction aspect of Venus and Uranus is happening in your 7th house. And here there is an explosion of surprises, a fireworks display of freedom in your partnerships. Here, familiar patterns, established agreements, and contracts are starting to come apart at the seams because fresh, unconventional, and even shocking ideas for interaction are rushing in to take their place. There will be very striking new acquaintances here and sudden twists in your personal life, both positive and negative. You might feel a sudden urge to break free from certain relationships or old connections altogether, just to liberate yourself and let your originality shine. This aspect can bring about situations where an unusual partner suddenly appears, someone who radically changes your understanding of intimacy and interaction. There may also be impulsive situations related to freedom and independence in relationships, as I mentioned earlier. Here, you want to be yourself without compromise. Spontaneous decisions about making changes are possible. In other words, this is a rethinking of your personal marital relationships or business partnerships. It's either an unexpected breakup or, on the contrary, a sudden strengthening of ties under new conditions. In business partnerships, this could mean unexpected deals or contracts, specifically with innovative projects or some kind of unconventional collaboration. So what does this mean here? It's important to be prepared for the fact that familiar models of interaction no longer work. There will be a need, a necessity to quickly adapt to new circumstances. And to ground this energy, first of all, give yourself and your partner space to express your individuality. Allow freedom in your relationships. Right now, that is more important than any strict rules or conditions. Maintain openness, stay flexible, and be ready for changes in any type of relationship you have. Don't cling to the past. Use this energy, the energy of this aspect, for joint creativity, launching partnership projects, businesses, or startups. If it comes to ending a relationship, do it with respect and honesty so that there are no negative karmic debts left behind. And practice mindful communication during this period, especially to be aware of the dynamics in any of your relationships. I wish you success. Sagittarius. The conjunction aspect of Venus and Uranus in Taurus is happening in your 6th house. The horoscope will bring vivid changes and surprises here in the area of your daily work, your habits, your health, and something related to your pets. This is a time when your routine will change abruptly and your usual ways of working, they will just become boring. You will feel the urge to introduce something new, some unconventional approaches, and to seek more freedom specifically in these areas of your life. This aspect can bring situations where you receive unexpected job offers or something at your workplace changes, a new position, a change in responsibilities, a sudden turn in your career, a desire to introduce innovations into your work process, new technologies, applications, or some unusual, unconventional solutions. If we're talking about health, unexpected ailments may suddenly make themselves known. Or, on the contrary, you might want to find some alternative, unconventional methods of treatment. Sudden changes in your daily routine are also possible. For example, you might feel the urge to optimize your routine, introducing something new in technologies or certain applications. And overall, on an emotional level, there will be a need to break free from some kind of routine or pressure. You feel more creative and you want to take better care of yourself and those around you in order to ground this energy. At work, opt for sensible experiments. Introduce something new, but do it gradually. This will undoubtedly boost your productivity. Take care of your health wisely. In other words, explore new methods. Study them, but don't neglect classic, proven treatments if necessary. Create a flexible daily routine to allow for more freedom and spontaneity. Practice meditation and breathing exercises to relieve stress and tension. After all, this is the 6th house. And try to incorporate more creativity into your daily life. I wish you success. Capricorns, the conjunction aspect of Venus and Uranus in Taurus in your 5th house of the horoscope brings, first of all, a bright burst of creativity, unexpected twists in your romantic relationships, flirting and casual affairs. And this is a moment for you when it's as if you're being invited to step outside your comfort zone, fall in love with life all over again, and reveal your own unique style of self-expression, whether that's through creativity, romantic relationships, or interactions with children. Or you might take part in some kind of entertainment events. There could be unexpected encounters here that completely change your state of mind and bring a new kind of inspiration into your life. This aspect can create situations where you suddenly find yourself in a romantic adventure or have an unusual encounter that simply excites your heart and your mind. New creative ideas and insights may emerge, along with a desire to experiment, take up new hobbies, engage in art, and have lots of fun. Unexpected twists are possible in your interactions with children. If this is relevant for you specifically in your relationships with children, it could mean new forms of communication or joint projects together. There may also be some risky or unconventional investments in your hobbies, creative projects, or entertainment. What's important? It's important to be ready for spontaneous changes of plans and not be afraid to experiment. And in order to ground the energy of this aspect, Don't be afraid to experiment, but at the same time, maintain your sense of responsibility. In other words, take note of what truly brings you pleasure and benefit. Use this energy to launch a unique creative project or to express your creative style and originality. For example, in romantic relationships, try to be open, meet new people, flirt, keep things light, but at the same time maintain your personal boundaries. Plan entertainment, plan your leisure time. And the more spontaneity there is, the more interest and enjoyment you'll find. Also, make a habit of regular relaxation. That is, go for walks, dance, do sports. This will help you reduce impulsiveness a bit or channel it in a constructive direction. I wish you success. Aquarius, the conjunction of Venus and Uranus in Taurus is happening in your 4th house of the horoscope, and this is a time of unexpected changes in your home and family life. Your home and your inner world may take on new colors. You may feel the urge to refresh your space, your home, do something unconventional with the interior, or even change your usual way of life, something as simple as starting a renovation. You might want to expand your personal space through some unconventional ideas, bold renovation projects, or by acquiring unusual furniture or appliances. And emotionally, there may be unexpected surges of feelings, a desire for more freedom in family relationships. Overall, this aspect will create situations for you where you might have to make a sudden decision to move or start a renovation that will radically change the atmosphere of your home. Unexpected meetings, conversations with relatives, with parents that will completely change your perception of family ties and bonds. Or a desire to create a space at home that is very unconventional and highly individual. Let's continue. There may be surprises related to real estate matters or moving. Here, unexpected offers or changes may arise. To ground this energy in a positive way, use this aspect for a creative approach to arranging your home. Experiment with decor and the overall atmosphere. Communicate more openly with your loved ones and relatives, your spouse, your parents, with your extended family as a whole. And if there is any misunderstanding, seek out compromises. Express your individuality more. At the same time, it's important that this doesn't disrupt the stability and comfort of your home. And of course, practice relaxation techniques and meditation to help relieve the emotional surges that may arise in the context of home and family matters. I wish you success. Pisces. The conjunction of Venus and Uranus in Taurus in your 3rd house of the horoscope brings a real electric spark to the sphere of your communication, your thoughts, and your immediate environment. This is a time when your usual conversations and information flows will change very abruptly. You can expect unexpected meetings, new acquaintances, fresh ideas, and unconventional perspectives on familiar aspects of life. Sudden news, new acquaintances, offers, or sales may arise here, which will simply shake up your usual rhythm of life. In communication, you will feel a desire for more freedom, experimentation, and some unconventional approaches. Be prepared for surprises in conversations and unexpected twists in your relationships with siblings, neighbors, and classmates. This aspect will create situations of sudden, unusual encounters that will expand your social circle and change your perception of the world. Original ideas, inspiration, creative projects, media projects, all of this can be initiated, learned, or you can set out on trips and communicate more. Unexpected news or messages that will change your plans and give impetus to changes. In general, you may also feel a desire to break old patterns of thinking and start expressing yourself in new ways, for example, through some online platforms. Spontaneous trips, relocations, new opportunities, and discoveries are also possible. So mobility is important here. To ground this energy in a positive way for yourself, openly accept everything that comes into your life in this aspect, whether it's information, new ideas, experiments, communication, or new acquaintances. There will simply be increased courage in implementing informational ideas, topics, and concepts. At the same time, maintain a balance between freedom of expression and respect for your conversation partners to avoid unnecessary conflicts and misunderstanding. In general, use this energy for learning, studying new information, foreign languages, anything that will broaden your horizons. Definitely go on trips, and don't forget to taking a break from the information flow is also very important. And during this period, there will be especially a lot of it. I wish you success. Subscribe, like, share this video, and see you soon. Bye-bye.